What's up, dude?
What's good, y'all? Welcome to Random Thoughts with Brother Johnsy and the Rev.
How's everyone's Thursday going? How's your Thursday, Rev?
Oh, it's a Thursday of Thursdays, bro.
It's one of those Monday Thursdays or what?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
That's how it was at work, man. It just, anyway.
I feel you.
I'm not bringing that up. I'm off. We're off.
Yeah,
What we want to talk about that for?
Works out. I actually love my job. My job is awesome.
I really
can't
enjoy
talk
being
shit.
an electrician at a power plant. So, yeah, me too. But still, work is work.
You know, I only work like 3-4 hours a day.
Yeah. We're all
I
not
know.
living our best lives yet.
I'm totally living my best life, bro. What are you talking about?
I said not all of us are yet.
It only took 20, 30 years to get there, dude.
Right.
Saying.
I got a couple more then, I guess. All right. Well, hey, before we get into this, we got to shout out best seasoning blend, in my opinion, on the planet. One of them for sure. And it's not just me who says so. The American Royal Barbecue Competition said so. Best hot rub on the planet with a sweet heat.
100% natural. No
Yeah.
additives, no fillers.
Nothing. It clumps up.
It's so natural you'll think it's the 70s all over again.
Hey, believe that. So real quick, I just did pork butt covered in Memphis, and I feel like I've done it before, and I've done other things covered in Memphis because it's rapidly becoming one of my favorite, hands down, best pork butt I have done. I don't know, it's so good, man. I can't stop eating it. So,
bro, I did that for dinner. I did pork chops with their Memphis rub, dude. It was delicious.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie, that was like 2 hours ago. That was lunch. That was dinner. Yeah.
I gotta do that. Pork chops in the Memphis. Yeah.
So good, dude.
Yeah.
So good.
So we were finishing up kind of a tour, and then you brought up a topic for tonight: cast iron.
The campfire cookery, man. Cast iron and all that good stuff.
Which, I mean, I'm a huge fan of. I used to have all kinds of different pots and pans, and I have a few stainless steel and cast iron. That's it.
I'm a big believer in the cast iron, man. If especially if you do it right. Because there's always these great debates about cast iron and how to season them and all of that.
Oh, yeah. How you're supposed to clean them and take care of them and blah, blah, blah.
One of the big things is, so when you get new cast iron, or if you get an old cast iron that you have to clean and re-season.
Tone.
Yeah. What's good, brother Tony? Math hole. Appreciate you.
What's up, fellas?
When you get cast iron, you have to season it, air quotes, right?
Yeah.
So what you're doing is creating a thermal polymerization. Okay. And basically by adding, like, a lot of us use bacon because, well, it's delicious and it's easy to do. But you're heat cycling it. And what happens is steel, especially raw steel, doesn't have a lot of additives to it. Like stainless steel is a blend of different metals.
Yeah, they're all compounds or alloys.
Yeah. Well, iron is one of the rawer forms of that. So it's porous. What happens is when you start that heat cycle, it opens up the pores.
Mm-hmm.
And it has these little pockets on a microscopic level, these little divots. So when you're adding your fat to it, whether it's Crisco or bacon grease or whatever, you're filling in those holes. You're filling in those little pockets and divots to create a flat surface. And what happens is when you heat cycle it, it has that thermal reaction and it creates a polymer on the steel to make it non-stick. It's essentially a natural version of, Tefal or Ingenio. That's
you're doing naturally the right way what they did chemically in the crappy way.
Exactly.
Which is poisoning you folks, just so you know. That's science.
Yeah, those black flakes in your food, that's not pepper.
That's not pepper
It's not
anymore.
pepper.
Yeah. The pepper dissolved.
Yeah. And here's the thing.
So,
One of the biggest things,
yeah.
once you've created that polymerization, it takes a lot to get it off of a pan. So
Mm-hmm.
you can like use dish soap on your cast iron and it's not going to destroy it. Now, if you go full send with a Scotch Brite or an SOS pad,
Yeah,
you're going to
yeah,
have to
yeah.
redo it.
Yep. So it's now there's a lot of back and forth all over the internet on what's the exact recipe proper way to clean cast iron. And I don't know like the full I don't know what the exact if you can go watch a cast iron collector who's like an actual cast iron collector. What's up, Damon? Uh and they will, they'll show a video of the exact proper way to clean cast iron. You can go to Lodge, you can go to Griswold, Wagner, hit all the heavy hitters, and they are all going to have instructions similar but a little different, whatever. This is straight up, folks, how I clean my cast iron. Anybody can call me out they want to. As soon as I'm done cooking, while it's still hot and empty, I stick it back on the heat until it gets insanely hot. Take it over, pour a bunch of water in it, swish it around, throw it out. Now it's basically clean, and then I wipe it. Done. Put a little more oil if it needs it. Heat it back up so the oil soaks in. Wipe that out. Good to go every single time.
That's pretty much what I do. Unless it's like we've been out camping
Oh,
for like a week and there's that one that you forget to
Tony's
do it to.
look at that. Tony's trying to show off. Oh, whatever. Wagner and Griswold, and you got the cool stuff. Just kidding,
Uh,
Tony.
I have a Dutch oven from the 1800s that my great grandmother brought over from like Ireland.
And that's probably, dude. That thing's probably worth a few $1,000. Like that's another thing. Cast iron it's in and it's cool and it's collectible. Crazy.
Yeah,
I
but you know
know.
what? We've been making pot roast
Yeah,
with the
exactly.
same pan, with the same recipe for like 8 generations. And it's the best pot roast you'll ever have because that's where the flavor is.
Hmm. Oh man, everybody's like, ooh, they're throwing down. Excellent.
It's not the size, it's how you
What's
use
up,
it.
cuz? It is. Hey, actually, one of my favorite pieces lately is my tiny little. It's like this big, like 2 cups, maybe a cup and a half size, little sauce pot from Lodge. Oh, dude, glazes, sauces, all kinds of
Absolutely, dude.
stuff goes in there, dude.
I
Love
got
it.
one of
I
the
love
the
it.
wife got me one of the square skillets a couple years ago, and dude, I make like Japanese omelets in it.
Yes. Okay. And let me pause this real quick. We got a question. We got a question about willows. Go ahead. Ask the question about willows. What's the salt intake on it? Hardly any. You can get their SPG. It's called high elevation and it doesn't taste salty at all. Sometimes I'll still add salt. If that answers your question, Aaron. Yeah, Erie's another. Erie, they make that's like where is that where Wagner or Griswold's from? I can't remember.
One of the cool things about 5 years ago, Lodge came out with a special edition
Lodge is
campfire
badass, dude.
kit, and it came in like
Yes.
a handmade wooden crate with like rope handles, and it had like burned in logos and stuff, and it had everything. It had Dutch ovens, skillets, it had utensils, pot lifters, pot holder, because people forget you got to put that somewhere,
Hmm.
and it had space for utensils, and it all fit in this beautiful wooden crate.
Yeah. So they have since not Lodge, but a bunch of other companies now have re-released stuff like that. I was just looking at those real quick, Aaron. If you look at the scrolling ticker, if you use Johnsy 2022 at checkout for Willows, it'll save you 10%. But yeah, so the craziest thing about this show, especially what we've been traveling on as food, is like what it always comes back to, like how did this come about, or you know
You know,
The,
for me, the biggest thing is, especially when you're talking cast iron, you're talking campfire cookery over coals and flame and smoke. There's something primal about it. There's a necessary
yeah,
need to be able to cook. And
and I looked up a couple facts just for this. They can trace earliest guess of cast iron usage to like it, it's like the eighth dynasty or something of that in China. It's the Zhou dynasty in
yep,
China, some thousands of years ago. But if you think about it, any kind of iron tool, weapon, anything that was the beginning of cast iron right there. They just refined it by casting it in these awesome sand molds and figuring it out. And they no longer needed the amount of weapons and cannonballs and cannons anymore because we weren't at war on that global of a thing. There was more industry. And so they started making pots and pans. And that blew up. It's when there was no such thing as when like logging or people working out, like you say, perfect campfire. Well, who's always camping? Loggers and cowboys out running. And they could take what they used to do is they would take a Dutch oven, heat it up, cook everything over the fire, get it all hot, and put it in a box, line that box with straw. And by the time they got out to their workers, the meal was cooked and it stayed hot till they were done. Like, come
and
on.
that's one of the beautiful things about cast iron is the heat retention and radiating heat. I knew this one old time we go out camping, and after the meal was cooked, he'd literally take the cast iron skillet that is still flaming hot and put it under his chair around the campfire.
That's exactly how they used to heat beds back in the day. They weren't all necessarily cast iron. Some of them became steel, because it was
brass, copper.
Yeah, brass. It was lighter and easier to handle. But I just fill it up with coals, get it super hot, and stick it under the straw mattress.
And they complain about gas cans.
You know what I mean? Let's put this super hot. Combustible things can combust just from being heated up to the right temperature, right, folks?
Bro, we have a story about that happened here in Flag about 2 weeks ago. So every year we make the national news for something called Tequila Sunrise. It's the local college. It's their homecoming. Mm-hmm. So they open all the bars at 5 a.m. Yeah, it's a rough day if you work in a restaurant industry or you're a bartender.
Yeah, or if you weren't planning on being around a bunch of people. Oh, boy. Yeah. That means, the whole town's like a concert.
Yeah. So this year, that was like 2 weeks ago or something, one of the frat houses, they're not allowed to have fraternity houses on campus. So they have to rent a house off campus. So one of the houses burned down. So these brothers from this fraternity had been drinking since like 4 a.m. because they were like pre-gaming. And the house had
frat boys pre-gaming for a 5 a.m. start. That's awesome.
So they've been partying and drinking so much in the house.
Yeah.
That the alcohol content in the air became combustible, but they didn't realize it. So they were out back and had a bonfire, and it blew up their house.
See, but breath, exhale, plus everything just sitting out. Not every beer got finished, emptied, washed. Come on, folks. Nope. This is a frat house. That's wild. I've never heard that.
Yeah. It legit, the air became combustible, and like some of the embers from the fire found its way in the house.
Sorry, Damon. Yeah, wild, right? Yeah, there's always weird phenomena. Like, I'm an electrician, right? And we have meters and stuff to measure all kinds of different levels of electricity. And they're made in a way that no matter what, as long as it's the right one, no matter what voltage or amount of amps is running through there, you can figure out what exactly is the amount running through there.
Yeah.
But there was I heard of this one time, but this one guy went to go test a high voltage, like stuff that Nombre does. and there was enough condensation in his in the meter at the time because he had gotten his truck and it was obviously snowing and freezing.
Yeah.
Turned on the heater and it just didn't have enough time to cycle whatever, and went like that. Boom! I mean, he's all right. I think the guy lived, and I honestly think he wasn't that messed up, which is surprisingly for an electrical explosion. But
I bet
yeah,
he needed a change of shorts real bad.
at least, bro. Hey, hey, like sometimes when you're like you hook up batteries, right? And there's always a little arc spark when you're hooking up the second
Sure.
whichever one it is, whatever leg, right?
Yeah.
When you're in like a big environment like a power plant, even when you're hooking up like a tiny little 12-volt battery or whatever, but the lights are out and all this stuff, and then you touch it and it sparks, like you immediately like, okay, yeah, it always happens. But
Bro, I've done all the electrical sockets. I replaced all of myself in the house.
mm-hmm.
And where I live, the house is from the 70s, so nothing's brand new and everything's kind of interestingly wired.
Oh,
So,
and it's been, and people got to it before you. That's the other problem.
yeah. And I live in a trailer park. There's some trailer park shit that went down here. And of course, my brain wasn't thinking like that. So I just look at the panel, like, all right, that's the kitchen, that's the kids' room, that's the master. And I turn it off and go to like switch out one of the plugs and be like, God damn it.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Like
yeah, I know, dude. That's wild. Like, I'll go to these plants, like, or I mean, I work at a plant before when I was subcontractor. Worked for a subcontractor. Show up at these plants or whatever. And there's this whole beautiful printed panel schedule, and you're like, oh, nice. Just flip this breaker off. You walk over, and you're like, "Or the light's still on." So you go back over, you're like, oh, maybe it's wrong. So you click like the couple around it, you walk back and you're like, the lights are still on and the motor's running. Like, whoa, okay. Then all it is like you just have to go from the motor or the lights, like you just follow them to an endpoint and then just start tracing wires through conduit and gutters. And the problem is who knows how many electricians are there before you. And here's the deal. It ain't just the trailer park where people trailer park stuff. Know that, folks. They bring that shit with them. What's up, Rio? But yeah. So back to cast iron, and like what the greatest thing is, dude, is like it if you the simple little things we just talked about, if you follow that, just keeping it clean, and like keeping it clean ain't freaking hard, folks. It ain't hard at all. And they're like virtually indestructible.
bro,
Like
I keep one in
you
the
have
back
to
of my
try to break them.
Jeep. Dude, I keep one in the back of my Jeep just for emergencies.
My Dutch oven is in my Tahoe. Like, I took it up north and I was like, you know what? I'm just not going to take this out until I absolutely need to. Because if I want it, hey, there it is.
Exactly. You know, here's a simple test you can do to tell if you actually did the polymerization right. So, number one, if you feel it and it's tacky, that's not done right. But number two, if you heat it up and you throw a couple splashes of water on it, if you get those beads to dance around the pan, it like skates across the surface. That means there was proper polymerization. If it doesn't, if it just sticks in one spot and turns to steam, that means your fat's coagulating, which means it wasn't polymerized.
Yeah. I know I got to redo my Dutch oven because when I used it and like the top inside, like the middle of the inside, that ring, like I didn't get it good enough. And when it set hey, check it out. All my other pans are seasoned so perfectly, so well taken care of. I left them sitting out in the oxygen, in the wet of the northern redwood, forest. Nothing wrong with them. Nothing. They look exactly the same. I wiped all the water out of it. It's totally fine. But that ring on the Dutch oven, it's got a little bit of that rust spot. So I got to redo my Dutch oven.
Well, and that's the thing. You kind of have to go over and re-season them periodically.
Absolutely.
It's just about the the care and the wear and tear on things.
Mm-hmm.
One of the couple of things you should never do with cast iron: don't use any sauces that are vinegar based, that have tomatoes in them. No
See,
ketchup.
and I break that rule once in a while, dude.
That's when you can do it, but
that's what happens is you get the rust and you have to completely re-season it.
Anything that's got high acid compounds in it are going to break down the fats.
Yeah, exactly.
And remove part of that polymerization.
It's all a chemistry project.
You can do it, but you have to re-season it immediately, or you're going to get rust spots.
And folks, don't worry about rust on there. Don't sit there and eat the rust. I'm not saying that, but
it's not gonna. You're not gonna get lockjaw.
Yeah, it's not like you're not gonna get tetanus from that. But it is so easy to get rid of. One of the easiest ways. I had and this is I did it with a cast aluminum too. Oh, sorry, I went that really fast. What do you say? My grandma would kill me for saying. Oh, he said he puts his cast iron in the dishwasher, and he says I lie. My grandma would kill me.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, for real.
Hey, it's funny. Most people, like myself, we have that family thing. Grandma had a piece of cast iron, and then somebody's auntie, uncle, mom, dad got it, and then we end up having it.
Mm-hmm.
My Aunt Trish, she's also been in the restaurant industry for years, had a food truck in New York City.
Nice.
And my mom is the one who inherited the Dutch oven in our house. And to this day, she still is like, I'm going to steal it from you. I'm like, all right, good luck getting on an airplane.
Yeah. I guess every once in a while, my sisters, before they moved to Tennessee, we'd walk around the house and like, oh, I'll take this and you can take that or whatever. And because it freaks my mom out. And she'd be like, what are you guys doing? We're like, oh, we're just picking out what we want. So
we're just planning.
Whatever the will says, it doesn't matter. We're not going to fight about anything. She's like, you're already planning our deaths. Like, but yeah, dude, no one's going to get any of my dad's cast iron, even if I have to end relationships.
I understand that, bro.
But yeah, dude, I don't have any old. I don't know if we have any old pieces like that yet. Because my both my parents are still alive, so they would have them still, I guess. But I don't know, like that's where we got traditions, but like our Italian side, like there's some dark history back there, so it's like not the two people closest to me, my mom and her parents, where that comes from, they don't give a flying rip, it was not cool for them. But I'm like, I get that. Well, I'm not trying to talk about them. I'm trying to talk about the good stuff. But I get it because So we'll see when everything. I'm not waiting. I don't take that wrong, internet. All right. All I'm saying is whoever inherits my cast iron collection is coming up. That's all I'm freaking saying.
I say that to my older kids all the time. Like, you planning when I die already? For all the cool shit floating around?
I mean, that's the thing. Like, if someone's going to get my cast iron, they're most likely getting all my barbecues, all my accessories. Like, someone's coming up fat.
Yeah.
I better not say that. I don't need anybody planning anything.
I say that about my chef knives, dude. I've been in the restaurant industry
so
dude,
long. I bet you got like
some. A 300-piece culinary kit, dude. Like, one day I'll have to show it, and like some of the knives I've fabricated myself, like out of existing knives. Mm-hmm. Like, you know what a Polish throwing knife is, right?
I don't know. So, I don't know all the proper names.
It's definitely not proper, but so you know what a cheese knife is? One of those really big, long with the two handles.
Yes.
Polish throwing knife.
Polish throwing knife. Yes. I get it now. I thought you said like Polistrova or something, the actual name of something. Oh.
So if you take one
I
of those,
wanted to go into some Polish jokes right there so bad, but we'll just keep rolling.
Nombri's not here. We can't make those jokes, dude. So yeah, if you want the best meat cleaver you'll ever own, buy a Polish throwing knife and cut one of the handles off.
Yeah, for real.
Dude, you got a blade that's that long and it's only this wide.
It's a meat machete.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Wow. Yeah, that's a good idea.
And it works especially if you're doing like whole hog or like full butchery, like half like heads of cattle and shit.
Mm-hmm.
You don't get that drag. Like meat cleavers are wide.
Yeah.
They're great for like hacking through bones and shit.
Mm-hmm.
But this, it's got the weight behind it, but you'll be able to glide through large portions of meat.
That's crazy. When I go to Montanza, dude, I'm gonna take pictures of all the weird shit that we use and all the old school stuff and just have a conversation with you about this stuff, because they have this big cleaver and it's what they use to get through the last bit of head and cut the snout in half after we cut the pigs in half, right? And
it looks like a big meat cleaver with like a 2-foot handle.
Exactly. And it's like a giant meat cleaver. Yeah, exactly. But it's almost like it's like halfway in between a meat cleaver and what you're saying to do.
You know what that's called, right?
No, I can't remember.
That's called a butcher's axe. So,
okay.
Pre-industrial revolution, when they were breaking down heads of cattle,
is
the only way you could do it. And some of those would be like 4-foot long blades, like huge. And they could literally dispatch a cow, skin it, remove all the good bits.
Wow.
And there would be one guy, they would hook it up on meat hooks by the hind legs, and there'd be a guy with that thing, and he would literally cleave it in the quarters. It looks like something a Viking should be swinging in battle.
Yes, yeah. Okay, nice. Yeah, dude, you could just tell this. It's probably been in his family since the 1800s. It looks like I don't
predate stainless steel. Yeah,
I don't. Yeah, it's
like
not stainless. Steel. It is not stainless. That's for sure. It's not stainless.
You know, I've got a couple of those floating around in my collection, and they're really hard to maintain because they predate stainless. So I cheat. You know what you can do? Next time you're at like Cabela's or Bass Pro Shop or something like that, go in the firearms cleaning section and find gun bluing paste.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So what that is it's an oxidizer, but it's chemically formulated so it'll only bring out certain colors of the oxide. Once it's rusted, right?
Yeah.
So once you do that cold bluing technique where you put the paste on, let it sit for an hour or two, and then clean it off, it's always going to be that way. So then you don't have to worry about it rusting anymore. That's why.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
That's why they totally use gun bluing. Yeah.
That's really smart. I'm going to do that on one of my knives, actually. I don't know if
Make sure you clean it.
I know I'm sure I have.
Make sure you clean it really well. You got to use the paste because the paste is way more effective.
Yeah, the oil is not going to.
It looks like a toothpaste tube.
Yeah. Okay.
The liquid doesn't work the same.
I know exactly what. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
So what you got to do is clean it really well. Hit it with a wire brush, like a wire wheel on your grinder or drill or whatever, till it comes out bright and shiny.
Yeah. Okay.
Clean it off with like mineral spirits or denatured alcohol to get everything off of it. And then use the paste to make sure you get a good layer on the whole thing. Let it sit.
Denatured alcohol, man. I hate the smell of that crap. And the only reason is because I've cleaned switch gears. Like, switch gears, for people who don't know, they go from the power pulls to switch gears. You know, there's like a transformer that steps it down. It's the main power for plants. It's a big deal. Well, smart plants every year shut them all down and clean them. Because yes, everything is everything will conduct electricity damn near, almost everything, more than you imagine, especially at these high amp and voltages. And that's the best way to clean them is denatured alcohol, because you
Yeah.
go through, you dust them, wipe everything down, and then you go through with denatured alcohol rag, and it gets every last little bit off. But huffing that inside of a metal box, and while it's hot, is not. That's a different kind of. Ugh.
So check this out. So what are those large steel containers at the top of power poles? And what are they filled with?
They're transformers, and they're filled with oil,
They sure are.
mineral oil. Yeah.
So one of my former
Does anybody
stepdads-
know why there's oil in there?
Let's hear it.
It's to cool the transformer coils, the windings of it. Anyway.
So one of my former stepdads worked for Southern California Edison,
Oh yeah, Edison. Yep.
and he started off as a lineman.
Mm-hmm.
And back in the day, you're talking like in the 70s and shit.
Oh, dude, that was. Hey, let me tell you, those linemen were a complete different breed, bro.
Totally different breed of cat, dude.
Yeah.
I got a really hilarious story about him. But when he was a lineman, they didn't have safe, like OSHA wasn't a thing.
No,
Like not even close, dude.
They climbed in cut off jean shorts and no shirt back then.
Yeah,
That's-
exactly.
I got pictures of my friend to prove it.
Yeah, utility belt. They were strapping their spikes on the sneakers and shit. Yeah.
All kind of, yeah, whatever.
So he ended up, I don't know what the hell he was doing, but he ended up hitting one of those with an arc and blew the entire thing up, dude.
Oh yeah.
Like
Dude,
caught fire and everything.
So similar story. We were moving a church. Well, I wasn't moving the church. They were moving a church. They had jacked it up. And we're moving this church, right? Like a block and a half. Literally, they went out of the parking lot, took this
Turned it
corner
around
to the
and
street
moved it.
behind it, and went to a
Just
lot
took a
on
left.
that street. Yeah, it was two rights, but yeah. And they a buddy of yours says, "What's up, Rev? Mike West."
What's good, brother Mike? That's a friend of mine, affectionately known as the Holy Batman.
Oh, genius.
I myself
Wasn't-
worked as a kitchen manager at Denny's, and so did he.
Mm. What's funny that you say Holy Batman is the last name's West, and Adam West played Batman forever.
Exactly, dude.
That's too perfect. Oh,
So, you want to hear the most ridiculous story about a Southern California Edison employee?
of course we do.
You'll appreciate this one.
We
so-
love burning people on the Dude Network.
He was kind of an asshole, especially to my mom. So I'm not.
Oh,
not
send
shedding
it.
any
Let's
fucking
go.
tears.
Yeah.
So what's the big deal with PG&E, dude? What was there's a whole movie about it starring Julia Roberts and Southern California Edison.
Really?
You ever heard of a movie called Aaron Brockovich when they were dumping all this? the
Oh
waste
yeah,
chemicals
I've
and
actually
shit?
I've never seen it. I've never seen the movie.
Yeah.
I had no idea that's what that's about. Oh, I got to go
It's
back and
about
watch that
PG&E
now.
and Southern California Edison dumping poisonous
Yeah.
chemicals into the well water in this town in California.
Yeah.
And, like,
I know
everybody had,
all
like-
about- they were-
Everyone
they
got
were like-
cancer and shit.
Yeah, they were
Yeah.
nutty and yeah. What was the name of that town?
I forget.
Dude,
but-
I can't remember. Anyway. Yeah.
So he
I
ended up
kn-
working
yeah.
his way up through the company, and he
Okay.
was like a senior VP when this happened, right?
Mhm.
And he lost his fucking mind. Like he was under so much stress, and he was this
Yeah, oh, I
executive,
bet,
and
dude.
like, this chick out of nowhere is suing the company, and they know
Yeah.
they're gonna fucking lose, and
Yeah, you're dead wrong.
like he had like a company paid for therapist that like all the executives had to see and shit.
Yeah.
And one day, because he lived in Ventura County and had to like drive everywhere and shit, so he's on the
Oof.
101
Oof.
right off of Seward Avenue in Ventura, California.
Yeah, I know
and
exactly.
he fucking snapped. Like
oh boy.
he like pulled over and turned his car off, and like didn't know who he was or like where, like literally his brain stopped fucking working.
Yeah.
And like
Dude,
CHP
stress
rolled
is an
up.
animal, bro.
Dude, like CHP rolled up and we're like, sir, and he's like, I don't know. And they called an ambulance and shit and like
I
hooked
don't
him up. And they brought him to like the funny farm, dude. They like the
Yeah.
huggy sweater, fucking guys with butterfly nets, the whole shebang. And they, because he has like insurance through the company and shit, and all of this insane stuff is going on with PG&E and these lawsuits and this whole town suing him. They get a hold of his shrink from the company. It shows up like a week later, and he's shuffling around with the grippy socks and shit, and the fucking One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, fucking the whole nine. And he's like, I want to go home. Can I go home? And the shrink, no shit, looked at him dead in the eye and went, if you know where it is and you can find it, you can go. And he couldn't.
Is he still there?
No, this was years ago, dude. This is like
Okay.
back in the 90s or some shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, after that, dude, they gave him like full retirement, and he was like, that dude used to steal my weed. He was like a total California beach bum, dude. All he do is sit around, smoke weed. The other ridiculous story about that. So you remember video stores, right? We all love video stores.
Video King, Blockbuster, Hollywood, yeah.
So there was this like mom and pop video store in Oxnard,
Which I was
California.
just about to say, those were always the best because they always kept all the cult classics around.
They got all the cool shit.
Yeah, exactly.
But in the back, they had them red
Oxnard.
like saloon doors, right? So they paid the local college to make a commercial for like the local, what was it? KDTV. It was like Channel 9 or some shit.
Okay.
For a local TV spot, right?
Yeah.
And there used to be this law where you didn't have to make people sign like releases and shit if they weren't on the air for more than like 15 seconds.
Yeah, it was a totally different set of rules back then.
Totally different time and shit. And we're
a better time.
Yeah. So me and like the homies are watching TV and shit. The commercial comes on, and that idiot is walking out of the barn doors, dude.
That's awesome. I never would agree to anything like that.
Well, and that was the thing, because he wasn't on long enough. Because it was only like a 30-second commercial, so he's probably only on there for like 5 seconds.
At most, yeah. That's funny.
Dude, and it was ridiculous. So he
was
like
so proud, dude. I'm in a commercial.
Because, like, dude, all he literally would do is, like, he went back to school. He was, like, a terminal college student. And, dude, he was, like, in his 50s and shit. Rocking, like Birkenstocks. Fucking, like, a pony, like, the rat tail ponytail. A fucking polo
those
shirt
are the best,
shit.
dude. Yes.
Dude. He was, like, a total burnout and shit. He's, like...
We literally had that guy retire. He just left our work as, like, a regional guy. Like he didn't smoke because he works for a power company and shit, but it just the ponytail, rat tail,
ponytail.
Like, yeah, dude, you could tell if he wasn't wearing freaking work boots, that you are required in PPE. This will be wearing
Birkenstocks, toe socks and shit,
corduroys that are too big.
Yep.
Yeah.
Those fucking corduroy jackets with the suede patches.
Yeah. Or the fringe leather suede.
Yeah, dude. And like, dude, all this guy would do was fucking spend my mom's money. Dude, I'd go to like fucking Twist Up a J, and my fucking stash would be gone, dude. I was so fucking mad at that dude. And he like apparently all he do is smoke weed, watch porn, and go to college.
What a life, dude. That's insane.
And he was one of the dude, he didn't even have like a major. It was like he was undeclared. So he'd be like, all right, I'm gonna take underwater basket weaving this semester, or fucking
They're just
like,
making up
bro,
courses.
You're like 56. What are you doing with your fucking life?
The greatest thing is like colleges will just start making up fucking courses because like, hey, there's idiots like this giving us money.
Yeah. Absolutely. Uh-oh.
Oh boy.
Uh-oh.
Looks like Texas messed up, bro.
Uh-oh.
Are you getting all those dings too?
Exactly.
Holy crap. I was like, what's happening? Is there an emergency?
I know. I was like, dude, somebody's house burned down? Shit. For those who don't know, us and the other creators on Dude Network, of course, have to communicate. So we have like group text and all that. and someone just blew up our phones all at the same time. Apparently over a super dry steak.
Yeah, I thought it was literally thought like there was like an Amber Alert or something.
Yeah,
Like why are both our phones dinging the exact same?
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, let's see. Oh, BT Lee's. At least it was. At least it was. Well, I don't know. It said dry steak, Brian. It said dry steak.
Apparently, Nombre knows how to cook a steak very well done.
Oh, Nombre wants us to see his overcooked steak. Oh boy. Hey, I don't even know if he's watching, but this is getting clipped forever, Nombre. Oh, that's not even coming across good right here.
It's not good. Not good.
Here it is. Hey man, Tony, Texas messed up. We need to celebrate.
Should I put on a Yankees hat for this dude?
Oh, best comment about it right here. I didn't realize he worked at Goodyear. Bada bazinga! Excellent, Tony. Excellent.
You know,
oh boy,
here this is just for Nombre. That would be Joe DiMaggio hitting a grand slam home run in the original Yankee Stadium.
Nice.
Yeah.
I hate the Yankees, but you can't argue with those Yankees. Those are different Yankees than the Yankees we deal with now.
Bro, I grew up in New York. That's the thing, man. I had my first Cognac.
No, yeah, I'm not.
My first famous Nathan's at the original stand, dude.
Amen, Tony. And Texas needed to be humbled. Amen.
We're going to put a link in the bio so everyone can send Nombre some beef jerky because apparently that's how he likes his steaks.
Hey, yeah, Nombre, just slice it, thin slice it. TDN freaking jerky. Oh, he's just getting burned on here. Those Yankees were tortured by team doctors. All
they
kinds
sure were, man.
Hey, go check out the new Elvis movie and see what that fool's manager did to him. My wife and I talked about that for like 2 years before the movie came out. She loves Elvis.
Was a scumbag.
Yeah, and Dr. Kevin. Dr. Kevin, Dr. Kyle, Dr. K,
yeah,
Dr. N.
Something like that, yeah.
I can't remember, but yeah. Dude, they killed him, bro.
You know, Bill Burr has this great bit he does about Elvis being the first, man. Because you know what? He opened up a lot of doors for being like the insane celebrity.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why they call them Elvis doctors.
Exactly.
That's a reason. For those who don't know what Elvis doctors are, they're the guys you go and say, hey, I would like a bottle of, Oxycontin. And they're like, here you go.
Oh, boy. I got to apologize, but I got another cousin who just jumped in the comments and is calling us out. So he says, how do we cook a turkey this week? And then he says, before we answer him, Kyle followed up with this. Where's that advice this week, cuz?
Well, perhaps you should watch the Thanksgiving show next Thursday.
Boom!
But I will give you my menu for next Thursday.
Let's hear it. Here it is. Oh,
so we're doing 2 turkeys. One of them is just a regular traditional bird.
Nice.
We got kids. We can't do anything too fancy for them. So we're doing a standard menu for that, mashed potatoes, gravy, turkey, stuffing, all that good stuff.
Kyle, listen now.
Right? So the other one for the rest of us, we are now, Tony.
Apparently we are.
Yeah. The other one is going to be a Cajun style.
Ooh, nice.
Right? But get this. So I'm going to do basically all the mise en place for like a jambalaya or a gumbo.
Oh, okay.
It's going to be the stuffing. But then we're talking like crawfish tails, shrimp, and Dewey sausage, the Holy Trinity, the Godfather, all that good stuff. And it's all going to be tossed in with like a cornbread that I'm going to make with jalapenos and a couple other good things in there. And that's going to be the stuffing. In addition to that, I'm going to do a Dutch apple pie. I'm going to do 2 of those, and then 2 bourbon sweet potato apple pie, 2 bourbon sweet potato pies.
Hallelujah. Hey, amen. That stuffing sounds baller. You guys redeemed yourself. Hey, we didn't even need redeeming, number 1. Number 2, yeah. You're building a jambalaya, but inside of a turkey. That's brilliant.
Exactly.
That is brilliant. That's badass, dude. Yeah. I know you're not a big poster or anything, but please take pictures of that for us.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, all right, thank you. So I really don't even know what's going on. No one's talked about anything in my family. I was maybe gonna go out to Lake Havasu where my other cousins are at, but that didn't work out either. But I do have the entire week off next week.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice. So you come from an Italian-American household. When you're doing Thanksgiving, what's known as the Pope's nose?
Hey, I come from an Italian-American family, but as my cousin in the comments going to testify, like, they don't talk about it that much. Like his dad will, and then me and him will. Those are the only people who care.
So when we do
but
Thanksgiving,
I've heard of the Pope's nose.
So when we do Thanksgiving or cook a turkey, you have to clean it out. So you get that bag with the giblets. What else is in there?
The neck.
That's what they'd always refer to the neck as.
The Pope's nose. So I saw a great picture online. I wish I had it to put it on right now. I wish I knew how to. I need to get better at StreamYard and learn how to do all that because it's perfect for our show or your show. But David from Willow sent it to me, and I had to share with that turkey where they position the neck perfectly.
Oh yeah, dude, I want to do that so bad.
So just so everybody knows, they position the gizzards and the neck at the hole of the turkey where you'd insert the stuffing on the bottom to look like the twig and berries, and it is absolute gold. So if you can have an 18 and over Thanksgiving, I highly recommend doing that without telling anybody, because that will be the highlight of Thanksgivings for like the next 20 years.
I might be looking for it right now because I might have
exactly, Damon. Exactly. The pecker. Does it come across? Here, let me blow you up real quick.
Let's see.
Yeah, hold it sideways just a little bit. Yeah, right there. That'll really throw them for. That'll start the conversations right off for Thanksgiving. You know what I mean?
Bro, have you seen the video where this guy makes a turducken, but he only does like a turkey and a Cornish game hen?
No.
And he has like these 3 daughters, and they take it out of the oven and they go to break it down and start carving it.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I know exactly. Yeah.
And these like tween girls are like, "What's that? Oh my God." And the mom is like, "Oh, it must have been pregnant."
Yeah.
And they totally buy it, dude.
They lose their mind. They're so sad.
Yeah, they're like, one of them's crying, the other one's like screaming and shit.
Yeah.
It's like,
we killed a child or whatever. It's like, they lay eggs, folks.
You're like, they got eggs and shit, right?
Dude, it's just like that one we were talking about last time, dude. I could not. I've been raising chickens since we've had chickens since I was like 9 or 10, man. Brown eggs, green eggs, white eggs, it all depends on the breed and the color of the chicken. And I watched this video. These people are stoked. They're like, it's not, I know it's not like a joke video. These ones are the real ones. And they're so juiced that they got the brown eggs because they're healthier, bro. Did you know? Did you know?
You know what? Hey, as long as they're not like wombat or snake or like
Yeah, I
platypus or
mean,
some
yeah,
shit,
not
I'm fine
happening.
with like eggs are eggs, dude.
Yeah, if it comes from an actual bird, a fowl,
Yeah,
I will
yeah.
eat it. I ain't eating any of that funky other crap. Nah.
Bro, you ever try to crack open a an ostrich or emu egg?
Dude, I just recently held an ostrich egg. Again,
These
it's
are
been a long.
monsters.
Oh yeah, these are just really young ostriches. They're only like 1 or 2 years old. It's the first egg they've laid, and
Yeah,
it was a little bit smaller. They'll get like the size of my head.
yeah,
I got a big dome,
dude.
and
And they're like
dude, the
one
shell on that
ostrich.
thing you could feel. It's got to be like an eighth inch thick at least.
At least, dude. And dude, one ostrich egg equals a dozen chicken eggs. But the thing is, getting into it,
Yeah, that's pretty
and like
cool.
you literally have to sit there with like a hacksaw or a drill or like a hammer and chisel to crack open that eighth of an inch shell.
Yeah, like so, folks, take a chicken egg and well. See, like when you buy eggs in the store, they crack easier than the ones that I grow or that my chickens lay.
Yeah, that's
I
because
don't,
they've been genetically bred to make easier eggs. Yeah.
well, and my chickens get fed insanely good stuff, laying, like with, like different medicine stuff to keep, uh, what's that crap called? Parasites out of them. And, other than
Which is
that, they
funny because
get,
they eat fucking worms.
yeah, I know. But other than that, they get nothing but, vegetables that are going bad that we didn't get to in time. Um, they're like just so everybody knows, chickens are almost the exact same as pigs. They will eat absolutely anything and they will eat all of it. Uh, all right, we can do that. We can do a whole show. Maybe not on this one if Rev doesn't want to, but there's more coming to the Dude Network. But we can do a whole segment on chickens.
Oh, we could do a whole episode on chickens.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Like we could totally do that. Yeah.
From egg to chick to teenage all the way through. I've done it forever. I
Or
know
the
Rev's cooked
or
them
the
probably
different
almost every way you can too. So the chicken
or the
and the
different
egg.
variations of chickens. Every
Yeah.
from the standard chickens you have that you get at the grocery store to like the Chinese black chickens to
Yes.
all kinds of stuff.
Or the Japanese fighting chickens. These
Yep.
roosters are like this big, but they're worth fucking $17,000.
Yep.
Sick. There's some crazy stuff out there.
So here's a
But
helpful hint: if you're gonna make deviled eggs next week, buy a dozen or 18 or whatever, however many eggs you're gonna buy them now, like tomorrow.
mhm.
Older eggs are easier to shell than newer eggs. So what
Mhm.
happens is if you ever cracked open a hard boiled egg, there's that white membrane that separates the
Mhm.
shell from the eggs, right? The older they are, the tougher that membrane is, which means there's going to be a separation between
Mhm.
the actual cooked egg and the shell and that membrane. It'll make your life way easier.
Or just a thought, you could cook them like they do in the Philippines and just shoot them down, folks. If you don't know what I'm talking about, listen to the
Watch
last
last week's
episode.
episode. The company I work for, every year we have a Christmas party. And for
Mhm.
some reason, there's a sushi restaurant. It's called Karma's. And they have great stuff. So they cater our Christmas party from the sushi restaurant. And one of the big things is they do shooters of raw quail eggs. The little speckled quail eggs.
Oh yeah.
There's some poor bastard at that restaurant who has to cut the top out of 200 of them fucking things for our Christmas party.
See, I hear about jobs like that, and I absolutely understand why people would go postal. Because after, and I'm being generous to myself, generous. I'm making myself look good. After 75, bodies are dropping. I will be like that guy from SoCal Edison. and just pull the car over, and
Just
I'm in
pull
the
the car
kitchen.
over. Just
Yeah, and I'm in the kitchen.
Turn the
I'm not
engine
even in the
off,
car. I don't know who I am. I don't know what I'm doing. What are these little
the guys with the
balloons?
butterfly nets and the rubber truck, bro. Get you that bunk room with no doorknob.
Hey, bro, I've only been a half a step from that guy since like 9. So
We've all been there, but we all seem to hang on to some relative
yeah.
sense of reality. Like, don't climb to the clock tower with the deer rifle today. It'll be okay.
Yeah, it'll be right, yeah. No, just because you know how to make the bomb doesn't mean you need to.
Yeah. Speaking of which, does anybody miss the old days of the internet?
Oh
where
boy,
you can look up the most, but like
verified. He said since birth. Yeah, I've been a wild one. He knows. He's a little younger, so he heard all the stories of me and his older brother and stuff too before, and then now he's known ever since. So, but what were you saying? Yes, I miss the old internet. Absolutely.
Like the days of rotten.com, you could
download well, hold on. Oh, I went on there one time, once, dude. And
one time, dude, I used to look at that shit all the time.
No, dude, man. It was because I went through and I was like, okay, I don't want to get into this too crazy. And I clicked on one thing, and it was a child boy who had gotten their hand caught in a meat grinder, bro. And there are some things in life when you see them, you never unsee. And I have never been able to unsee that. And I didn't want see, but I was a junkie for that kind of stuff. Like I have you ever seen the
Faces of Death, dude?
Faces of Death or August Underground or
the
Serbian
Olympics,
film
dude?
or dude.
Absolutely.
Freaky, morbid stuff.
What was cool about Rotten.com is they had the day in Rotten history where they cataloged all the weird shit that happened that day.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good stuff right there.
The good old days when you could download like the Anarchist Cookbook and shit.
Yeah, which I may still have a copy of.
Bro, we need to talk later. I've been looking for a copy of that. I bought it originally.
I will tell you this, and I will say it live. I don't care. Come find me. I had a copy. If I can't find it, I do know where to get it. I do. I'll get you a copy.
Dude, I bought a copy originally.
99% chance it has to be digital, but I'll get it to you.
I bought my original copy of that back in 1994 at Tower Records.
Yes, Tower! Yes! Fuck yeah. And I bought my first Bad Religion album there. I love it. Yes.
Back when the parental advisory sticker, good old Tipper Gore, screwed us for about a decade.
Yep.
And they let me buy the book, some concert tickets, but my older cousin had to buy like 3 metal albums for me because it had the parental advisory.
Yeah. Stupid, dude.
It's like, you know what this book is, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know what band I'm going to see, right?
Yeah. Dude, and there's so many people who don't even know anything about that book. They may have heard it. It's like an urban legend, dude.
Yeah.
That book
we read the whole
insane.
thing cover to cover. Like
yes, the first
times.
Yeah.
The last page had a poem by Ho Chi Minh and shit in it.
Ho Chi Minh, yep.
Dude,
it's just like it's cool, and then you get to these ones where it's like how to steal someone's identity, how to commit perfect credit card fraud, and you're like, oh, this is a bad book.
I shouldn't be reading this right. I'm gonna get in trouble.
Yeah. But dude, it's funny because I've have you ever seen any of the interviews with the guy afterwards? Like, because he got hated on, dude.
Yeah, fucking Lieutenant Colonel Christopher Powell. Yeah,
and they're like, why would you write anything like that? And he's like, he was all part of like the punk and F the government, anti-establishment movement. And he's like, I get now that, some of that stuff probably should have been edited out, but.
Well, and that's the thing, man. We have a bookstore here. I know, it's weird. It's an actual store that sells books.
We have one. Yeah, we have one.
and it's called Bookman's. Technically, they're called an upseller because you can take like DVDs and books or whatever, and you can either sell them or you can get A trade or B trade, where you get either like electronics or video games or straight
Okay.
books. And they have an entire wall and a big sign over it that says subversive literature. And it's literally
Yes.
all the books that have ever been banned in this country ever.
No way.
Yeah,
That's awesome that someone still has that.
they absolutely do. And
There's because
they do this awesome sale this time of year where they'll take like 4 of the books, wrap them up in brown paper, and stamp them subversive books. You get what you get, and they're like $10, and you get like Allen Ginsberg, Jack Kerouac, The Anarchist
dude.
Cookbook, Timothy Leary, like Tim O'Brien, like stuff about the Vietnam War and shit, stuff about the
Yeah.
punk scene, you know?
Dude, that's a whole nother topic, like getting into Timothy Leary and Richard Alpert, who later became Ram Dass, and that whole movement. Oh man, there's tons of stuff. Oh man, I love that brand of yours.
Dude, that's where the band The Doors got their name, man.
Yeah.
The Basho theory that, you know, once the doors of perception of the mind are open, you'll truly free. That's where Jim
Yeah.
Morrison got the idea. The Lizard
Which
King
I'm not. I
himself.
hate the Doors. I cannot stand them, and I'll be hated. I'll be reamed on the internet. We'll probably go viral for me saying that, but it's the
You know,
truth.
they're okay. I can take them or leave them. I'm more of like the Rolling Stones kind of fan, man.
Yeah, dude, I love the Stones. I don't know. Not my jam. Not
Although
my jam.
there's a song by The Doors, it's called The End, where they had some really fucked up lyrics. And there's only one time it was ever recorded because it was always edited out by the recording companies.
Hmm.
So if you get their double live album, it's the
Dude.
last track on the double set.
So
And you can hear the most fucked up lyrics ever.
I see. Real quick, let's get on to that. The good stuff that the editors cut out back in the day. Remember the secret songs on CDs and stuff? Well,
Dude, Tool's secret song was
yes,
like
we're
2
in-
hours long.
It's long.
Undertow.
Yeah. Unbelievable, dude. You're like, this is like 3 more albums right here.
Yeah.
But like, dude, back in the day when they were doing like those ones at the like there's my favorite version of War Pigs from Black Sabbath is a basement tape that finally got released, you know, whatever, 40 years later, whatever. And the lyrics are way different, dude. And for the time, like horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible.
Yeah.
And man, like if that's what it was, dude, that's what I want to hear. I want to hear the original stuff. And like it to me, like I'll sing that version over the real one, like on the radio if it comes on. If you're like, that's not how it goes.
And you're like,
yeah, I'm actually, suck it.
So, you ever seen the zombie movie that's set in the mall with Ving Rhames? The end of that movie.
Is that the one? Is that the one with like one of the Waynes or something too?
Something like that.
I'm pretty sure. Like that's what they get to a mall. That's like the first like whole main part. I'm pretty sure I've seen that one. Yeah.
Yeah. So the end of that song, when the credits are rolling and they have a bunch of like outtakes and stuff, there's a song called "The People Who Died." Okay. So, you ever heard of the Basketball Diaries? It was one of Leonardo DiCaprio's like first movies back in the 90s.
I was about to say it's like an old movie from the 90s, right?
It's about a heroin junkie in New York City.
Yeah. I know them. I don't know if it's been a long time if I've seen it, but I know the movie, yeah.
Leonardo DiCaprio plays a guy named Jim Carroll, and it's based on a real person. It's a real thing. The Basketball Diaries is basically this kid who wrote a diary from being a middle-class Catholic school kid to being a full-blown heroin junkie. That dude got sober and started a band called the Jim Carroll Band. And that song from that horror movie is their number one song. It's called The People Who Died. And he lists all of his friends who died when he was a junkie.
Oh, wow.
Like, you want to hear some underground music and shit? Yeah.
Yeah, that's sick, dude. Yeah. That's my kind of deal. Like outlaw underground country. Like I love all that stuff I love stuff that's not mainstream because that's really where you find good stuff.
Yeah, dude.
Like
One of the
I
one of
grew
the
up.
best things
Go
about
ahead.
Jim Carroll. So he really was like a high school basketball star before he started sliding off into drug addiction.
Hmm.
And towards later in life, he kind of became a recluse. Like he was a writer, and then he had a band back in the day and shit. They used to call him the poet laureate of the Lower East Side of Manhattan.
Oh,
And
okay.
right after like in the late 90s, early 2000s, he granted an interview, right? Because everyone wanted to
Mm,
talk about the basketball diaries. And it was right around the time of Columbine. And there's a scene in the movie where he shoots up a school and people flipped out. So he
mm,
finally grants him an interview. But what people didn't realize was he's a basketball fan. So they try asking him all of these like riveting questions about what it's like to be in recovery for so long and
yeah.
what his inspiration was. And he's literally talking about like Kobe and
Yeah.
Shaq and Jordan back in the day. And they're like, what is going on? He's like, no, trust me, watch the footage. You'll see the difference between their dribbles and how this dude hits a layup. And like the interview is like losing their mind because he's like this scrawny white Irish kid from Lower Manhattan talking about like the all stars of basketball and shit.
Yeah. Like something he probably, they would like, you don't know anything about that.
Yeah, but he knew every stat, every game, like the whole nine. Like basketball was like in his blood.
Yeah. So I met an, I'm pretty sure he was autistic, uh, or Asperger's or something on the spectrum, but he lived in Washington. I met him through my cousin used to live up in Gig Harbor. He, knew every stat since the history, everything, like how the baseball people announcers will rattle like, oh, this is the first time in 80 years that a
Yeah,
Hernandez pitcher and a Hernandez batter is because they have it all on a screen.
yeah, they're
You
looking
know,
up Google and shit. Yeah,
yeah. This dude knows absolutely every single thing about the Seattle Mariners since their inception. It is mind blowing, dude.
you know,
My
and
and
what gets me about stuff like that is it's never one of the dynasties. It's never like the Lakers or the Red Sox or the
Nope, it's
Yankees
always
or
like their hometown team, and they
yeah,
know. Like you can literally be, hey, uh, what was the score on such and such date? And he'll go, oh, let's see, this guy was pitching. It would have been this on a Tuesday. No,
like knows
five.
the density mass of
He's like,
the
yeah,
bats they're using and shit.
exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah, dude. Well, that was before the in fly or in infield fly roll. Like, dude, it's
yeah.
insane.
Like knows the name of the cow they made the catcher's glove out of and shit.
It's like, but just about the Mariners because that's all he cares about.
Yeah,
And give a crap about anybody else.
yeah.
Die hard Mariner, and he knows every. I just, yeah, man. I wish I remember stuff, and there's a lot of information here, but it's like if I can coax it out at the right time.
Sure. I've
Uh,
probably like forgotten more shit than
more
I know now.
exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like the amount of information that's been in, maybe it's still in there, but it's not
Trying to
accessible.
retrieve it.
It's
The
not
worst thing
accessible.
is though, and you can attest to this because it's not just me. You'll be trying to remember some shit.
Don't even.
You're either gonna be like falling asleep at night, taking a shit, or in the shower where you can't like write it down or fucking tell somebody or whatever.
That's where you have your absolute best ideas. All
Absolutely.
these crazy thoughts. And every time I need to remember something in the middle of a conversation, it just goes poof.
Oh
And
yeah,
then
like a fart in the wind, dude.
I will literally be like about to fall asleep, like literally about like where you're like gone, and I'll pop up and I'll go, huh? Add more cheese, and my wife will look over at me and go, "What?"
What
And I go,
the
"I'm just
fuck
remembering
are
what I
you
was trying to
talking
say 6 hours ago." Not that it means anything now or it's relevant, but I
about? Yeah.
remembered it. And that's a victory here.
Small victories,
Oh,
brother. Small victories.
hey, hey, live by those.
Absolutely. So, just because we're talking about odd and interesting things, I've had some very interesting encounters in my life. So I inadvertently met Redman and Method Man from the Wu-Tang Clan. Totally, I didn't even know who they were at the time.
Isn't that always how it works?
Dude, one of my homies, his old lady was throwing him a birthday party. This is back east in Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like sleeping on someone's floor, like the apartment above them, and there's a big house party. And I'm coming in with a case of 40s because Mickey's is delicious.
Yes.
And these two scrawny black dudes are sitting on the couch smoking a blunt. I'm like, yo, you want a 40? They're like, for sure. You want to smoke a blunt? I'm like, yes, I do. And I didn't even think about it, man. That's just kind of like the world we lived in. And like 6 months later, I'm like watching MTV. I'm like, yo, those are the guys from the party.
That's sick, dude. That's tight. See, like I hung out with bands that like people know who My Chemical Romance is. I kicked it with them and we got lit. But
my wife and my oldest kid are shitting bricks right now, bro. Not even gonna lie.
Hey, so tell them this: the little short guitarist Frank is a diehard Nightmare Before Christmas Tim Burton fan. Diehard, right? Like he, when we went and saw him in Sacramento, I forgot my jacket inside, and when I was like, we were hanging out with them, and because we brought a hookah. It's a whole story. We'll get into that part later, but
funny you say that.
The bouncer was like, can you get him back in here? And I'm like, no, dude, like the band is waiting for us. Like we were just in a Static Lullabies tour van. And I was like, I just left my jacket. And he was like, nope. And then I came out. Then Frank, so I'll take you in. And I'm like, oh, no way. This is fucking sick. Because that's when I was into music and stuff. Yeah. And I go and I slap on my jacket and I have this little, because back in the day, kids, you weren't punk rock unless you had pins everywhere.
Pins and buttons, dude.
Pins and buttons. And I had this little pin button and it was all white with just Jack Skellington's smiling eyes. And he saw it and freaked out, right? He's like, dude, I love them. Blah, blah, blah. He like pulls out his wallet. He's all, look, I got a holographic trick-or-treater wallet. Da, da, da. And I was like, well, you want it? And he was like, yeah, what? And I don't remember what video. I've seen it in a music video or a picture and live one time in a video on his guitar strap. So there you go. You can tell them that. I didn't get to hang out with Gerard that much because he had like a gallon of vodka and a couple chicks and came back with like this much vodka left in it. And that was at the end of the night.
That explains it all, yeah.
Yeah. He did what he needed to do.
So I also was hanging out with the Extreme Midget Wrestling Federation one time at this fucking hotel.
What?
And they're trying to get fucking a room, and they wanted like a nice one because they're on tour and shit. And the concierge at the desk says, I'm sorry, all of our suites are booked and paid for, so you're gonna have to get like separate rooms. And they're like, oh, whatever. And we're down at the bar having shots and shit.
With the Midget Wrestling Federation.
And fucking wait, it gets better. So we're just, having a grand old time, just drinking and shit. And in walks fucking Dennis Rodman with like 15 hookers.
Oh, it was a slow night for Rodman. Wow. All right.
And literally, he bought like all of these suites so he could have one hooker in each room.
Yeah.
And dude, he spent the whole night buying drinks for me and a bunch of midgets.
Dude, you have crazy stories like I do. That's wild, man. We got to shoot the shit one time about stuff like this.
Sure do. I still have their flyer floating around in one of my photo albums and shit from that night. Wild. Yeah.
Well, we keep upping the ante, bro. We're at an hour and 15 almost now, and I think we need. The only reason I bring that up is I don't think we are gonna top Rodman buying shots for you and the Midget Wrestling Federation tonight. I think that's where that needs to stop. We need to let everybody just simmer with that one. This is the Rev, folks. This is the Rev.
Not even the funniest thing I've seen on Mexican TV, bro. I would tell this one story, and then We'll shout out to our sponsors and then call it good. So I was down in Mexico one time in this tiny ass town in the middle of nowhere. And I got a room at their hotel. Well, inn or whatever. It's like the 4 rooms above their bar.
Yeah.
There's an old TV with the knobs and shit, right? So I turned the TV on. Has anybody seen the Three Amigos?
Yeah, with Steve Martin, Martin Short, and
Chevy Chase? Yeah.
Chevy Chase. Yeah.
Yeah. And they're like these actors who get conned into going down to Mexico to be like gunfighters and shit.
Mm-hmm.
That was on that TV in Mexico, translated into Spanish.
Oh, that is absolutely fantastic. That
like
that is what we call full circle, folks.
Full circle, man.
That is
like the funniest shit I've seen in my life.
That's so awesome. That art. Oh, dude, that's great. That's great. That's oh, just picturing it. I'm just picturing off all these other like 90s movies that they just randomly played during the day when we were growing up, like Ferris Bueller and stuff. All these just crazy movies just translated into Spanish. Oh man. Yep. And them not really getting it, maybe, because like especially movies like Ferris, like these stupid Americans.
Like nobody got the irony in that. Like
that's hilarious, dude.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Three Amigos.
Like
how, what's the chances? What are the chances that like that's what's on when you? That's the one. It could have been anything from the entire country of Mexico.
Anything, dude.
Or the inception of cinema, but it was that
one movie. Yeah.
That's fantastic, dude.
Yeah.
Man. I'm glad we stuck around for that one.
Right.
Well, where are we headed? Are we doing, so I guess we're doing a Thanksgiving show.
I think we're doing Thanksgiving next week, brother.
All right. We'll carve out an hour, recap.
Yeah, we do that.
Talk about traditions or whatever.
Sure.
We'll see what spills out of the beautiful mind of the Rev.
That's a long, strange trip, as the Grateful Dead used to say.
Hey. Amen, brother. Amen. I still trip out on mine once in a while. Like, oh.
You should try walking around up here for a while, dude.
Here I am. Like, how am I alive? How did I get here?
Tell me about it, bro.
Dude, like, how did we get here? That's the one question. Anyway, folks.
Ladies and gentlemen,
coming up. We'll see you. Have a great weekend. Tune in tomorrow for the Dude Network weekend kickoff party. Thank you to Willows, all the other Dude Network sponsors, Branch, Redbeard, Frickson, Family Farms.
You can't beat their meat.
Cleveland Whiskey, the only shots for the Dude Network. Get all that in tomorrow. It's going to be a good one. All right, folks.
Later, y'all.